I'm gonna show you how to beat a free centre-back formation. We'll look at the strengths and weaknesses of using a setup like this, as well as free example tactics that you can use to break it down. The biggest and most obvious strength is the central defensive cover that free centre-backs provide, as they will always create a one-man majority against all the common one or two striker tactics. But it's not just central dominance, as the wingbacks can drop back to create a 5-man defense. Not even taking midfielders into account that can also drop back, this 5-man line is incredibly tough to break down, as it essentially takes away any space that the opposition might look to exploit. And once the opposition has lost all hope on getting through on goal and they lose possession, a free centre-back formation can be incredibly dangerous on the attack as well. There's two keywords for how a free centre-back formation can be lethal on the attack. The first one being versatility. Having a strong defensive presence means that the midfield and attack can be set up to perfectly suit the attacking strengths of a team without having to put that much focus on the rest defense. Usually you'll either see a two-striker setup looking to constantly put pressure on the opposition defensive line with a midfield trio behind them combining with the free centre-backs to dominate the central areas, or you'll see a 3-man forward line with two players starting on the wings to combine with the wingbacks and create a wide dominance to then either put in some crosses or make some dangerous inward runs. But no matter how they line up, a free centre-back formation is certain to create our second keyword in the attack: great player distribution.
That's more than one word.
If we divide the pitch into 5 vertical zones, we can see that no matter how a free centre-back formation lines up, they've got at least one player in each of these zones without having to move horizontally at all, giving it a great coverage of the entire field. But don't worry, there are some weaknesses in a free centre-back formation that we can look to exploit. We've seen how free centre-back formations require the wingbacks to drop in to make that 5-man defense, as well as asking them to join the attack to create that great player distribution, which is a lot to ask of them. These two players will have to constantly run up and down the pitch for 90 minutes while having to be great at defending and attacking. If one of these players isn't of a high quality, that immediately brings down the effectiveness on that side of the pitch, which we then can target for both our pressing and our attacking play. And it's not just the quality of the wingbacks that can prove dangerous for these setups, as the free centre-back formation will almost always struggle with defending wide areas. You've got a wingback that likes to join the attack, either no attacking wide players or one that usually doesn't like to track back, and a wide centre-back that has to choose between covering the wide area or maintaining that central defensive dominance. This often leaves a lot of free space in the wide areas, which a targeted counter-attack can use to get around and behind the defensive line. And finally, the defensive solidity of a free centre-back formation is built on those centre-backs being rigid, in line with each other and communicating well. And while this can be tough to break down for a general tactic, having a focused attack on disrupting the interplay between these three centre-backs can create utter chaos in their defensive line, seeing their defensive wall crumbling down. Now that we know the weaknesses of a free centre-back formation, let's look at 3 example tactics that you can use to break it down. This first tactic is looking to exploit the situation where one of their wingbacks isn't up to the required quality and then becomes our main target. The 4-2-3-1 is already one of the most powerful formations in the game, and our midfield trio should be able to withstand any central overloads that a free centre-back formation might look to create. Most, if not all, of our danger will be coming from one of our wings. In this example, it's the right side, where we have more attacking and creative roles compared to the left. We'll also be focusing our play down that wing, as well as using opposition instructions to trigger our press on the corresponding wingback to really make sure to exploit their heavy reliance on an underperforming player. In this example, we're focusing on the left wingback, but the great thing is that we can easily switch our focus to the right wingback by simply mirroring the player roles and team instructions in our tactic. But what if their wingbacks are actually quite strong? Well, that's where the following 2 tactics can help you out. This 4-3-3 is looking to exploit the free spaces in the wide areas that are often left behind by soaking up pressure and hitting them with a direct wide counter-attack. We'll be setting up in a low block to let them move up the field, baiting them to leave that space on the wings. But we won't sit idly by, because when they do get up the field, we'll be heavily pressing them to recover possession. And when we do get the ball back, we'll immediately focus on the counter-attack, distributing the ball quickly to either flank. And in those wide areas, we'll have a dangerous combination of a wingback, a mezzala and an inside forward combining to overload the wide areas, getting around and behind their defensive line. But that's certainly not the only way to break their defensive line. Let's look at our final tactic. This 5-2-3 tactic is all about putting constant and dynamic pressure on their free centre-backs. We've built our own little defensive wall with a 7-man defense, nullifying a lot of the opposition's danger. We won't be sitting as deep with this tactic, and you might notice a bit of a gap between the defense and an attack. But this is intentional, as we're looking to skip that whole build-up play and immediately get the ball to our attacking strike force, and specifically our target forward. He'll be looking to win his aerial duels and occupy 1 or even 2 central defenders, all while his 2 partners in crimes, the advance forward forwards are looking to punish any positional mistakes in their defensive line. And even when these 3 strikers can't immediately break down the defensive wall, they'll be joined by 2 wingbacks and 2 segundo volantes bombing up the field, instructed to hit early crosses back into the strikers to keep up the constant pressure on the center backs. But what if they switch formations in game? Well, you can check out some of my other videos on how to beat some of the most popular formations in FM24. I'll see you on the next video.